Amazing. What an amazing announcement from Lucky the Derp Dog over there as we get prepared for today's video. And of course, today is actually a rather big day as President Trump is going to have the keynote speech at the Bitcoin conference coming up. And if the charts are anything to be going off of, well, the charts might be just suggesting that we have an instance of show me the charts and tell me the news, because something is very much baking in the backgrounds here for Bitcoin and by extension the rest of the cryptocurrency market. So that is going to be the focus of today's video as we go into things, really a setup for, I guess, this next week to come, and follow up on some of the lower term time frame ideas, or not necessarily the lower term time frame ideas, but some of the ideas that we were looking at yesterday that were going to be confirmed as soon as today, which we do have clarity on that situation now as well. So without further ado, we just jump right into this one, starting off with, of course, where is it? Yes, right on over here. The weekly hidden bullish divergence signal on CME has indeed been confirmed. Weekly CME also closing ever so slightly green, as you can see right here. And we are within the context of extreme low volatility. And the weekly jewel is about to turn up as well. So if there's anything to be going off of, just looking at this chart right here, Bitcoin very likely going to see a momentous move coming into next week, and we very likely would be expecting the upside resolution of this one. Of course, because of the way that the weekly did close for CME, we have a very obvious invalidation point, which is simply just the low of this week, which is just over $64,000 for Bitcoin on CME. So basically, what I'm trying to say is that as long as Bitcoin is above that number, we expect Bitcoin to very likely have a momentous move to the upside in this case. Maybe not necessarily today, as Saturday is the lowest volatility day for Bitcoin, but this next week of price action is fair game for all of that. And of course, that brings up the question, when targets, or what targets, or what should we be looking for? Well, we've gone over this through several other videos through this past week as far as some more, I guess, long-term targets over the next couple of months. But in this case, we do see that the daily over here, if I can actually go to it on the HPDR indicator, has closed above the median, and the top side of the 38.2 level is now just below $71,000. So Bitcoin does have a nice range basically between the median and the top side of the 38.2 level, which is basically between $68,000 and $71,000. Or let me just double check on that. $67,900 to basically $70,900. So nice little $2,000 range there. And of course, right here on the daily time frame, we see as well extreme lows on volatility. So not only does the 5-day, the weekly, and of course the 2 days will have low volatility, but now the daily does as well. So we're seeing the alignment of all higher term timeframes, suggesting that there is a very likely big move incoming relatively soon, probably to open up August if I had to guess. And as long as Bitcoin is especially above the median on the daily HPDR bands, have to be looking for that move. I mean, you don't have to be doing anything, but I personally will be looking for that move to pop to the upside with that first area of interest in mind in mind over here coming up early this week. Of course, that does play hand in hand with the old moon setup that we looked at over the past few days as well, but I won't bring it up in this particular video. And on top of that, we can now go into the HPDRO directional volatility, which has had, it's basically had a bullish reset alongside a reset on, or a contraction phase on volatility. So again, this is going to be interpreted as very likely an upside setup with very obvious invalidation points, again, below this past week's low, any sort of a trade below there, and you can get ready for some rectum. And even in the short term, if Bitcoin starts to trade back down, close back down below the median, then perhaps, yes, we do have a furthering of this consolidation phase to be mindful of before any sort of resolution. But for now, Bitcoin closing above it to end the week for CME is an important detail and does set things up really for this next week to come. Of course, we do have an event later today, or not we have an event, but Bitcoin has an event later today with President Trump, giving the keynote speech at the Bitcoin conference, which is, it's kind of crazy to see this space be legitimized in that way, where you got presidential candidates like talking about this, I wouldn't say super frequently, but it's like a topic of conversation. It's like an actual election topic now. And I think the word on the street, the word is that Trump is going to announce that he, if elected president, he wants to have some sort of a Bitcoin strategic reserve. And actually RFK, who was speaking last night, said something similar. Unfortunately, RFK does not have, doesn't really seem like he has much of a chance, unfortunately, to really win this race, but he was even talking about buying 500 Bitcoin a day, basically, until they get up to like 2 million total for the government, or 4 million. I don't know, something like that. Pretty crazy shit. But But anyways, legitimizing the space further. Anyways, yes, so we've got that. Over here on the 5-day time frame, I should also be aware that the 5-day time frame is going to be closing not tonight, but tomorrow night alongside the weekly, and is going to have a chance to close above the median as well for the first time since the failed attempt in May. This was a bit of a trap situation right here, which we identified on early June. But the second time over here, this one's probably going to be the one. Generally speaking, with this sort of a setup with HPDRO, directional volatility going back into positive reads alongside, again, low volatility right here. I mean, this is an upside setup, assuming that tomorrow night does close above the median, which is 66,550 on spot price action. So, Bitcoin about $1,500 above that pivot right now. That's not unheard of to see a move below there within about a day and a half. But, as long as Bitcoin's above there, that can obviously enhance further targets, not necessarily in this next week, but over this next month or maybe two, somewhere around the top side of the 30/2 level, which is extended all the way to 76,500. So, it does look like if Bitcoin is indeed bullish, we do see it try for new highs in August, actually. Just keeping in mind that the long-term look on this one, the monthly look, just as simple as it gets, if I take everything off here and get naked on these charts and just look at the 5 exponential moving average, which is the red moving average right here, anytime that Bitcoin's been above it, generally good. Anytime that Bitcoin's been below it, generally bad. Yes, it doesn't work perfectly throughout the full history of Bitcoin, but it does work more often than not, like more than 90% of the time. And, Bitcoin had its chance to really close below the 5 exponential on the monthly this month. Instead, it has one massive wick and now is healthily above it with only 4.5 days left to go in the trading month. So if it closes anything like this, anything really even above that moving average, which is 63,333, by the way, then to me it's just a matter of time, or at least it's more so wise to just be looking for general upside as long as that is consistent. And this is really this price action right here is really going to be, damn it, get the fucking fibs off there, you bastard. There we go. Just yelling at my charts because that's very helpful as well. But it's like total autistic rage. But I rage really fucking hard at chess recently. Oh my God, it just can piss me the fuck off when I make a bad move. It's the worst thing. It's the worst thing possible. But this whole consolidation this whole price action right here is going to be really considered, one massive consolidation, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 months of sideways basically at the highs on essentially new all-time highs. These are all closures on new all-time highs, above the 2021 highs. That deserves to be recognized, and that's very likely to be biased towards the upside. Now, again, I stick with what I've been saying for a while now, that I don't think this mark cycle is going to extend like a significant amount much more. I think on like a break to new highs, you're probably looking at like another 6 months of this cycle, somewhere around there, give or take a couple months from that number, till Bitcoin, kind of completes its cycle. But those are typically the most fun 6 months. And so I think we're in that period. Also keep in mind, I didn't even recognize this before, but the monthly volatility is also on the low. So you got monthly, weekly, 5-day, 2-day, daily. Daily is actually not as bad. But ultimately, I am using different settings over here, I should say. But ultimately, this is all favoring upside continuation. Even on the daily stochastic oscillator right here, which is in the critical zone, it will actually cross back up on in the critical zone if Bitcoin does close today above $68,000, which is kind of floundering about right now. Of course, the weekly for CME did close to the upside as well. This one's obviously not trading over the weekend, but it did definitely meet that pivot at 62,450. So, all things pointing north, and even the monthly, by the way, the monthly is going to turn up if Bitcoin closes above 68,600. Still Bitcoin's a little bit below that number as of right now with 4.5 days left to go. But of course, when that next month opens, when August opens, I suspect that this pivot will naturally go down, and we'll see how far down it goes. And if it goes down super far, especially below like $64,000, and it's going to be another factor that does suggest upside sooner rather than later, probably in August, probably new highs in August, latest September if I had to guess. And Yeah, that's really all that I have to say about that. Again, the caution-ish areas would be basically tomorrow's 5-day closure below 66,550. If you see that, okay, hold your horses for a little bit more. There still could be another correction down to, let's say, even as bad as 60,000 bucks. But if Bitcoin does fulfill that pivot, then I'm always looking for reasons to kind of negate my general bias, and well, I'm going to start to really, it's not going to be a whole lot of reasons after that. And even right now, it's not looking likely. So it is what it is. Anyways, okay. I think that's good enough for today's video. As always, I want to wish you the best. Take care, much love, and see you hopefully next time.